Hi, I'm Beardmohbox and this is my Madden 17 wishlist video, and to start it off, I've tried to work out what date Madden 17 will be released, and I can say that it's either going to be the 23rd of August or the 30th of August. And the way I've worked that out is by looking at the previous release dates from Madden 12 onwards, and those dates have been the 30th, the 28th, the 27th, 26th, 25th and 23rd. Now from Madden 12 to Madden 25, the release always came 2 days before the first preseason Week 4 game. However, Madden 16 was released before preseason Week 3, making estimating when Madden 17 comes out that little bit harder, but it will be 23rd or the 30th, although my money is on the 30th. Now this is all pointless as the release date will be announced at E3 2016, which takes place between June 14th and June 16th, which is obviously plenty of time before the game comes out, but it's always fun to have a little stab in the dark and try and guess when the game actually comes out. The main purpose of this video, however, is as the Madden 17 wish list, and my only wish is that they sort out the player career mode, where if you're a running back, for example, you still call the plays and it's your running back that's on the field like 90% of the time. But that really is as far as my hopes for the next game go. So I thought that doesn't make a very good video, so I headed on over to a website called Madden17news.com, and they have a section called the Madden 17 Features Wishlist, and I thought I'd go through that on this video and give my reaction to what they've put down. Before I get into the list, as always with these types of videos, if you have ideas that I don't mention, please put them in the comments. I would love to read them. It's always interesting to see more stuff, because obviously I'm not going to be able to mention absolutely every possible change that anyone can think of, and I'd like to see what other people think could be changed in Madden. Now the link for that website is down in the description, but this was the best way to see what the community wants in terms of features and for me to be able to give my own opinion on that. Okay, so the first thing they've got down is a legitimate functioning draft board. And I agree with this one. So they're saying that they should have a feature that allows you to create a draft board, so in case you're not able to actually do the draft yourself, you can just start it, and based off your draft board it can auto do the draft for you. And in principle I agree with that. I think it would be a good idea, but I also think you would have to sit there for hours just to fill out your draft board, which obviously in that time you can just do the draft yourself. So it kind of makes sense, but really in actual effect it would just be a waste of time. The next bit, versatile AI. So they want artificial intelligence that reacts to your plays. So if you keep playing the same play again and again, those players will start jumping the routes or playing the run or something like that. And once again, I do agree with that. I don't know how possible that is, but I do feel like the other team never really seems to adapt very much to what you do. It does in terms of run and pass, but outside of that, not really. If you keep throwing a pitch, it doesn't tend to do too much to stop you doing that. An easy way to do this is for Madden to have a database that pairs every type of offensive play with a corresponding defensive play, and as you play a game, the defensive play table for your opposition starts to shrink down to the types of coverage that best defends the plays that you are using the most. Now obviously they may do something like this, but if they do, that system still needs refining. So the next one calls for assistant coaches to be in the game as being able to leave and get jobs and stuff like that, which I do find interesting, and it would obviously mean that playbooks then start to become associated with the offensive coordinators or defensive coordinators, meaning that you as a head coach, or if you play as the owner, have a responsibility to try and bring in specific offensive coordinators and defensive coordinators rather than just being able to pick and choose whatever playbook you want to use, and it would certainly add a more realistic dimension to the whole game. The next one here is that former players can become coaches, but this was or is already in the game. On Madden 25, I played in franchise mode as an owner, and that game had a feature in which retired players returned, and now that is something I want to see again. And I signed Ray Lewis, and he retired again after 1 or 2 years, but then it was time for me to find a new coach as I had Mike Ditka, who decided to move on, and in the list of available coaches was Ray Lewis, as well as some other recently retired players. Now those guys were only there in as much as their name and their positional speciality. There were no pictures for them or anything like that, but still it was possible to sign retired players as coaches. But I wouldn't know if that's in the game anymore because I play as a coach in franchise mode now. But I would like to see that back, as well as the retiring players returning. So they have another one here, and they've taken this from NBA. It says, include a My League mode, where it permits you to customize everything in this mode, from programs, games, schedule, cap, ratings and so forth, for every part of your franchise. and now a lot of that is possible if you do an owner mode, and a lot of it is possible before you start a franchise in terms of being able to change ratings and stuff, but I don't know how popular that would actually be. I feel like franchise mode with its selection of either player, manager, well, coach or owner, I think that gives you enough to do. That said, a general manager mode where you purely bring in players and don't play the games yourself could really be something cool for the future. Another one here is about greater player customization when it comes to clothing and stuff, and I feel like this is a bit too nitpicky. I'm a big fan of the customized cleats and gloves and stuff, and I feel like they could have a bit more, but I also don't think it's that important. And as a bit of a side note here, they say, at the point, when is the last time you saw any players tape their fingers? If you watch any game tape of Justin Houston or Eric Weddle, you'll regularly see them with taped fingers. Now this next one actually makes me question when this article was written. It does say it was written 22nd of October 2015, but this sounds like something much older because it doesn't make very much sense to me. So they say for Madden Ultimate Team they want a team application like FIFA where you can absolutely manage your team, open packs, auction the players and so forth, so that when you turn on the game you can get straight into the game. Now I don't really know what they mean. As you may be able to guess, I play a lot of FIFA as well as Madden, and in terms of what you can do in the game, it now at this point is pretty much the same. Maybe this was written a few years ago or a point from a few years ago, but in terms of being able to manage your team, open packs, auction players like FIFA, that's all in Madden, or at least to the best of my knowledge. Don't take my word for it. They have another point that says it would be cool if games could be played at Wembley, and I do think that is a good idea, as international games are pre-scheduled, so they would be able to put that in the actual schedule when you play Madden, and it wouldn't be that hard to get the stadium, as obviously for FIFA they already have the thing built. They will just need to rebuild the pitch area on the inside. So what do we have next? Equipment updates. So apparently back to equipment. It would be great to see the return of the coin toss back. It's got nothing to do with equipment. EA taking it out dependently fall off me as about answers, interviews and others. Okay, so this isn't very well written either, as in the English isn't that great. So I don't have a clue what they're on about right now. I tried to do this as I read it, that's not going to work, and I'll come back with my synopsis of what they're trying to say. Alright, don't worry, I've figured it out. So it's nothing about equipment, but the basis is they want the coin toss back, which I think makes a lot of sense. I don't like the automated thing, because sometimes I don't know what I've automatically chosen if I go into a season and forget to change it or whatever. I have no idea what they're on about with answer interviews and others, but they do have a good point with the getting drafted bit. They don't like how you choose the team that you go to, and obviously in previous games you did those little tests, you did like an IQ test, and then you kind of went through that fake draft thing, and I think they should bring something like that back. I already pointed to that with the player things, I don't like having to choose everything myself when I'm doing a player career. I'd like to have the whole thing of nothing is in my hands apart from what you do on the field. That does it with their list. There's a couple of comments down here. I'll go through this one guy's. He makes some good points. He says his ideas are playing the Pro Bowl, which obviously they used to have, which I liked. Updated draft classes, which obviously is never going to happen, as that's pretty much the #1 reason why everybody buys the new game. Different introductions per team. They can still work on that presentation, so he's right. Creator team needs to find its way back. Updated uniforms, yeah, possibly. Uniform creation, why not? And then more realistic broadcast, better graphics. Better graphics, of course, they work on that every year. And to be fair to Madden, they do work on the broadcasting and presentation year on year, making it better and better, bit by bit. But it would be nice to see a big leap from one year to the other. Not have 1 or 2 features extra a year. Completely revamp that presentation system so it's not the same stale 3-4 animations and broadcast the views every single time. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you can always subscribe or like. That really helps me grow. It's obviously nice to build a community, so on, so forth. Thanks for watching.
Oh my god, play!
Hey, you made it to the end of the video. If you haven't seen the previous video yet, you can do that by clicking here. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, you can do that by clicking here and subscribing. New videos every Friday and Sunday, and sometimes Wednesdays too.